certified platinum by the International Tape Association. Over 11 weeks on video bestseller lists. Now he's back. HBO Home Video presents Todd McFarlane's Spawn 2.
This world isn't about trust. It's about dominance and submission. It's about power.
What are you? Your worst nightmare. Now let's just see how high that IQ of yours is. Stay out of my dreams! Take care of Wanda.
Let's get something clear right now. I own
you. You took everything from me. You can't be alive. I'm not Simmons.
We had people coming at us from, kind of like the networks that saw it as a Saturday morning cartoon just because it was a comic book, right? So they made that kind of stereotype judgment call. And I kept telling them that, you obviously haven't read the book, right? Or you don't really know where this thing's going. So go do your homework and come back. But I knew that it was never going to be ready for kind of prime time viewing. HBO being the biggest of cable, I kind of landed in the right spot, you know, that they were going to give me my freedom and at the same time also give me the exposure that I was hoping for with the characters. The things that we do in animation in this country are 99% aimed towards children, you know, and again, children being, you know, anywhere from 2 to 12. They gave me a kind of a time slot, which, you know, was going to be like around Friday. I mean, it wasn't locked in, but I knew it was going to be kind of like Friday late. And so I knew the audience was going to be old. So you have to tailor-make your show to your audience. When you say adult animation, everybody thinks of Fritz the Cat, right? It's like, oh, and it's like, no. The reason that it has to be adult animation is because the themes that we're going into, especially in the second season, are more sophisticated and intelligent. And when you start talking about, you know, why are you good and why are you bad, and where's God in all of this, and what's the meaning of life, and, you know, do I really love that person, or am I just staying with them because it's convenient, and all those kind of odd questions. That's not something that a kid that's 12 years old to 10 years old wants to see in his animation, right? He wants to just go blow something up. To me, the greatest comic book I've ever seen, you know, just in terms of execution and the delivery of it, is a book called Akira, and it's done by Otomo Katsuhiro, is the man behind it, and he also did an animated show of it. It came over here to America briefly, and they did, you know, like dubs of some of it, and again, I think it lost a little bit in the translation, you know, verbally, but visually, it's a wonder to behold. And it's in terms of quality, in terms of like the number of frames per second, it's slightly a step below what they do in Disney, but it's right there. But unfortunately, in this country, there's such a gulf. There's like Saturday morning cartoons, and then there's kind of Disney-esque quality that now a lot of studios are going into, and there's really nothing in between. I mean, in terms of both quality and in terms of like the genres that you're going into. And Spawn really now is like in between there, and it's just a wide open void that is a big playground, but because there's really nothing there that we're competing against, and some of the things we're trying to create, that there's nobody there kind of like making us competitive except for ourselves. So one of the things that I know that we talk about all the time is we have to keep pushing ourselves. We have to keep reinventing ourselves because there's really, at this point, nothing to compare Spawn to in America. When you make animation, it's the equivalent of, like, let's say, building a house, right? So you need your blueprints, and then from the blueprints, then you find your builders, and then obviously the builders are as good as your foreman. And then you put it together, and then once you get it back, then you decorate your house, right? And all of a sudden you move in and you live with it. So animation's a little bit like that. Your blueprints are all the things you send overseas to actually get drawn in a kind of conveyor belt system. So you have to create all the characters here. You have to give them the color notes. You have to give them the timing of the lip flaps when people talk. You have to give them the staging. You have to give them like what the background of the city's all going to look like and all the drama. And so you give them everything other than physically drawing it. Then once you ship it off overseas, then that's where their skill comes in and taking all that information, literally the blueprints, and now going, our job is now to erect this. And so what they do is then they take all this information and they start to put it in. But one of the things that we're looking for, because we were over in Japan, is to try and get some of their influence mixed in with, again, Americana, you know, kind of looks, and do a show that kind of takes the stuff that we're very strong at and mix it in with what they're strong at, put the two together, and just keep kind of experimenting to see what works and what doesn't work. I think that the future Spawn depends upon, again, the job that we all do. And that includes story, it includes visuals, the way we present it, it includes marketing and advertising, all the things that are kind of like a big picture. I think Spawn can be something that kind of is an example out there to pave the way, if you will, for other shows of its kind.